IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
That's how we do it. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome and thank you for stopping by and hanging out the 400th and first episode of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're into All Natural Being and the gong heard round the world broadcast as it happens, thanks to our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast, live from the new, hopefully a little sparser, a little more cleaned up, a little more red up, as we said, from West Virginia. The new and improved Mortal Up Studios here in Columbus, Ohio, broadcast directly to IPMNation.com and multicast live over on Facebook and all over our All Natural Being platforms, including the Brian Brawdy app. Of course, as you know by now, it's rebroadcast. You may very well be listening to a rebroadcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter. Let me say greetings wherever you are, however you've come to hang with us. Greetings here in the Garden of the Mortals, the labyrinth of life itself, the ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, and the whims, the sheer havoc, the brilliance of the synchronicity and serendipity of it all. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs? Absolutely. Never a dead end, though. That is, until you and I ultimately decide, if we do, to tap out. But what we are going to do is always put your heart's highest priority top of the list, always calling on the true wit and wisdom and wallop of your inner whisper. I mean, who wants to live a watered-down life? Who wants to be a tepid version of themselves? That's no way to take a run at this reality called life, so we don't tolerate that here. We realize that you're here to out-brutal the brutal. That can be the cut and shuffle that fate deals you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But as I like to do, before we hit it this evening, a quick hello to all of my friends here in the United States and Canada, not to mention Mexico, the UK, my dear friends in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, and France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Iran, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Argentina, Peru, Austria, Poland. To those joining us from all over the globe, it is great, as always, to have you with us. Thank you so very much. I truly am fired up today to be driving your bandwagon, to be your biggest fan, to be avidly you, and if you're listening in, to be your virtual hitchhiker, if you're out and about in the go, because I love riding shotgun with you. Whether you're listening or sitting and watching us here on Facebook or YouTube, I love riding shotgun and getting to hang with you. So what are we waiting for? Here's our opportunity to mortal up. It's time, as I believe, it's time to love the way you think. It's time to love your life. It's time to be your all-natural being. And if I may, it's time for you to bring your personal grit to the relentless grip of life itself. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And I want to start this evening with a very special thank you. If you haven't had a chance yet to head on over to brianbrawdy.com/81 to win, I want to thank Alex and I want to thank Eric and all the good people over at A3 Innovation. And Lee says, I call shotgun. Thank you, Lee, very much for helping us get the 81 to win page up over at brianbrawdy.com. Thank you very much for that and all the hard work that you guys put in today. I super appreciate it. Let me say good evening to Kimberly and to Wayne. Wayne, thank you for everything today as well, brother. You worked well since sunup to pull some of this stuff off. So thank you very much as always. Lee Rowley from Sales Copy Academy. Thank you. Let me say hello also to Jenny. Jenny, how are you? And to Jennifer Booza. Jennifer, thank you so much. It's been too many years, my friend. I hope to get to bump into you soon sometime. So here's what we've been doing. As you know, we've got this little thing coming up called the Guinness World Record Attempt. All Natural Being is going to be going for the longest live call-in radio talk show, talk show, 81 straight hours in order to claim the record, and it's my goal to have that record in-house for us. Marcellus, thank you very much for joining us. I want to come back to let Marcellus know. Marcellus was like, hey, what happened to the monkey's fist? You got rid of everything. You brought in the leaf blower, tore up your set. Everything's gone. And I missed the monkey fist. So there you are, sir, just for you. The monkey fist is back in the shot for Marcellus. Thank you very much for joining us, brother. And as I was saying, we've been putting a lot of effort into this 81 to win. Joseph Haggerty, thank you very much for joining us here at All Natural Being this evening. Loving the pictures of the snow. We've had a little bit of snow here in Columbus. Move south. Yeah, move to the south. You'll love the weather. I live in Ohio now, and I say all the time it stands for, oh, how it's overcast, but that's just me. Good evening to you as well. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. You know, we've got the 81 to win coming up. We're still setting up the studio. We're getting a last couple of microphones and some other things that we're going to need. New page looks good. Great job, Alex, Eric, and company. Absolutely agree. Joseph, getting in from pushing snow. Yeah, but here's the thing. A good friend of mine at one time, speaking of Alex, thank you so much today for all the hard work that you put in. You and company, and Eric, and everybody else. Thank you so much for all the work you put into brianbrawdy.com/81 to win. It'll give you an idea. I want to get back to Joseph's point. He says, I'm just getting in from pushing snow. Yeah, but Joseph, brother, you're getting in from pushing snow in Colorado. I mean, just the way that says it, right? If I say, oh, I'm shoveling snow in Columbus. Or if you say, yeah, I'm just getting in from pushing snow in Colorado. Which one grabs you? That's all I'm saying. So in any event, thank you, Alex, very much. Marcellus says he sees it. Yes, sir. Let me get back on right here. You know, and believe me, we had a conversation about, should we say, hey, what pieces would you like to see back? Maybe we'll put a green screen behind us, and every so often we'll bring back a little bit of the tchotchke stuff, right? A little bit of the iconography that I've used throughout the years, and maybe we'll bring that back on. But Marcellus, I was thinking about you and wanted you to know that it is up there. Alice, good evening. Marie, hey, you all as well. Thank you so very much for joining us. You've stumbled into All Natural Being, and it's an honor to have you here. So getting back to this briefly, the 81 to win. Now, if you go over to brianbrawdy.com, we're going to start setting it up because, as many of my friends helped before, in the 24-hour marathon, Wayne and I were talking about today, this is 4 times what that length is going to be, right? So we really need to button up people that are going to call in, people that want to sponsor a segment, people that want to hang out and tell us what they're doing. Maybe you want to call and hang out for a half hour and give us some ideas to what you're up to. And all that I've been trying to keep in mind is that I would love it so that if anyone tunes in and goes, yeah, I would love to be involved in a world record. I would love to be involved in a successful challenge to get my name in the record books. And what I would say is I'd love for them to be able to tune in to All Natural Being during that challenge and go, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, they did some wild shtick. Yeah, they did this and that, but I learned something, right? Like during the 24-hour challenge, Kelly was here, and a top-notch, top-shelf dental hygienist talking to us all about dental hygiene. And we had, obviously, other people have stopped by the studio. Other people called in to give us an idea of what was going on in their field. And I would say from water to vitamins to coffee to all the different things to exercise, there were things that people could say, oh, no, I learned a ton when I hung out with the people over at All Natural Being. And we hope We're never going to give you up. All right. And of course, Lee is spearheading a brilliant campaign to get Rick Astley to call in as well. So if there's another, talk about top shelf, if there's another top shelf celebrity that you're thinking, yeah, we should get that celebrity, him or her, to call in as well, please let me know, because we're crafting a plan, and with Lee's help and with Wayne's help and with Alex's help and Eric's help, I think BrianBrawdy.com/81, TOWIN, 81 to win, is the way to go, so that we can get more and more people fired up about signing up. And really, it's a little bit of helping me, right? It'll be a very short period of time. Matter of fact, I don't go back to get officially cleared from the doctor until sometime next week. But it'll be the way to be involved in going from a brain tumor to a world record. I'm pretty fired up about that. All right. Also, I wanted to mention this evening, again, a very special thank you to Wayne Noel. Wayne, we've got the new graphic, Your Can't. So that will be the overall theme of the 81 to win world record attempt. When people say, oh, you can't do that. Well, I'm going to crush that. Oh, you can't recover from a brain tumor and pull that off. Dropped your sound. Well, let me see. Did it when I put it on here? Let me see. Let me try that again. Darn it. All right, let me try this again. All right. Let me see if that worked. It says, dropped your sound. Thank you. All right, let me get back to that quickly. I don't know why that happened, but let's try it again. So I wanted to thank Lee Rowley for the very witty tagline at Crush Your Can't. And I was mentioning, before the sound dropped for whatever reason, I was mentioning that, a lot of people say, oh, you can't win a world's record. You can't do this. You can't do that, especially coming back out of a brain tumor. All right, I think we're back there now. You can't do all that coming out of a brain tumor. And I said, well, sure I can. So Crush Your Can't was just a very witty tagline. Thank you, Lee. When the card was on, I went ahead and re-edited the audio again. Hopefully that works. So thank you very much for that tagline. As well, because I think, right, it encapsulates not only what we're doing for the 81 to win, the world record, but also maybe in your life where you just got to go, I've been listening to I can't do this, I can't do that for far too long. It's time to crush your can't. So thank you very much for that. John said, hey, everybody. Alice, I hope John's all right. I just noticed your post here. John says, hey, everybody. Please say hello to John back for us. All right, this evening, what I wanted to was also talk about is someone said to me today, I just don't feel, like I'm firing on all cylinders. And it made me think about mental efficiency and emotional wealth. And sometimes what happens, Wayne's World, right? Oh, you know what, Joseph? Hold on a second. Don't go anywhere. Joseph says, Wayne's World. So I have my heavy metal. Now, for those of you that weren't around with us, and I think maybe just about everyone here in the thread was, but this was during the 24-hour marathon when we were playing around a little bit with air guitars. And if I remember, Jamie and Candace were here and we were doing karaoke. Joseph said, talk about, he's good. All right, Alice, thank you very much. Glad to hear he's okay. We were talking about heavy metal, and this is my air guitar / sledgehammer that I use to get a little bit of upper body mobility from time to time when I've been standing back here too long, kind of swing this thing around and get a little bit of a workout in every day. So that's what we were talking about there. All right, so getting back to this concept of mental efficiency, what does it take to fire on all cylinders? And I've thought about that a lot. And you look at some people that say, well, I need to get this or I need to improve at that. But that really mental efficiency is your underlying operating system, right? And there is an actual frequency that doctors now say, Joseph, thank you very much. No, they don't say you rock. What doctors say is that there's a mental frequency that a brain operates on optimally. And we get pulled off our center, if you will. We get pulled away from our core if we're not focusing on maintaining that mental frequency, but we're stressed out, we're worried out, we're afraid of this, we're afraid of that. So one thing about mental efficiency is that you really have a chance to mortal up, and you really have the opportunity to tap into your all-natural being, because it's nothing that's foreign to you. It's nothing you have to get and put inside, right? Like, you don't have to open your pocket, get it, and drop it down inside, and then say, oh, well, I'm healed now because I've got this new pill, I've got this new whatever, right? I've got this new, maybe you could say I got a new mindset, but ultimately, It's already in you, that optimal mental frequency. And for me, that frequency has always been gratitude. When you operate from a position, now it's not philosophical, I think this is physiological as well. When you operate from a position of being thankful that you're here, of being grateful for giving the opportunity to be here in the garden of the mortals, then your brain, I think, is operating, and scientists are now starting to tell us, your brain is operating at that perfect mental frequency, at that mental efficiency. And then that, to me, is, as I understand it, and as it's come to play out in my life, leads to a sense of emotional wealth, right? Because when you have this sense of gratitude, there's really nothing that can bug you. So a friend of mine texted me today and said, "Hey, how are you?" And I said, "It is as it is." Right? It's exactly the way it needs to be. So I get up, and a term that Marcellus taught me, chop block, right? I get up, and whatever the chop block of fate is, I know that I'm going to bring the counterpunch. Brian Bouchard, nice to see you, brother. Nice to see you as always. And I know that I think you were busy traveling last week. And this is the first time I've ever seen this before. But Brian, you pop up in the thread as a valued commenter. Well, your opinion's always been valuable to me, brother. So from the very first time we met in that restaurant soiree, your opinion's always been important to me. So yeah, you're a valued commenter now, according to Facebook. So thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. We're talking about this evening mental efficiency and what it takes to operate at that peak, right? Like Brian's into really nice, fast cars, right? When you have a car that operates at peak efficiency, all the cylinders are firing, the brakes aren't locked up, you're not getting in your own way of moving down the road. Well, doctors now say that the brain works the same way, that you have that same level of efficiency within your brain. So how do we tap that? I think it's gratitude. I think it's thankfulness. I think it's being aware of where you are in the moment and go, yeah, you know what? There's nowhere else I'd rather be than what I'm doing right here. All right, give me a call if you get a chance. It's toll free. Don't forget, 833-MIND-UPS, just like push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups. Hi, Candace. Oh, you know what, Lee? That's a very good one. CounterPunch Media. Yeah, Wayne, if you're still here, Lee is putting in his vote for our conversation tomorrow with Matt, or if you find Matt tonight, CounterPunch Media. Lee, I love that. Candace, nice to see you. Sorry about the confusion last night. Candace, just mentioned your name about karaoke, you and Jamie, when we were here for the 24-hour marathon. It's nice to see you. Thank you very much. Don't forget, you can give me a call, 833-MIND-UPS, MINDUPS, or if you're into the math of it all, it's 833-646-3877. I kind of dig that. You know what, Lee? I do too. Maybe we should throw it out here in the thread. One of the things that Lee and I are talking about, and I'm thinking, knowing Lee, he'll probably make sure that we can get that website before anybody else does. Now that he's thrown it out there, but CounterPunch Media might very well be a term that you hear. I love that term, Lee. As a matter of fact, CounterPunch Media might be a term that you hear. Maybe even tomorrow night, really, after I'll make sure that it's protected, right? It goes through legal and all the rest of that, right? The attorneys and, because what'll happen is someone say, well, you suggested that they punch. You suggested that they bring a counterpunch, so I can see that. Please do. All right, I will. So, Lee, if that's protected, we'll go ahead and make that announcement tomorrow. Wayne, if you get a chance to talk to Matt here during the show or in the thread, that would be great. I think it's a fantastic idea. Good evening to Kathy. Kathy, thank you for joining us. Candace says, Matt, I've only caught one of your shows because of the time, but we'll try very soon. Oh, so he's got a great show, Candace. You're really going to dig it. Hey there, everyone. You too, Lee Rowley. All right, Wayne. Lee is in with his vote of what the name we were kicking around earlier. Lee is in with his vote, Wayne, of CounterPunch Media. And I got to tell you, I can't beat that. Lee's the writer, right? I can't beat that. CounterPunch Media. Good golly. That's a great name, so maybe we'll stick with that. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about this evening. We got 10 minutes left. Don't forget, give us a call, 833-646-3877. It's toll-free, so you don't even have that excuse, really. 833-MIND-UPS. We're talking about mental efficiency. We're talking about psychologically firing on all cylinders, right? Running like a fine sports car that my good friend Brian is accustomed to driving, firing on all cylinders. Well, what is the beginning, or what is the basis, or what is the bedrock of that mental efficiency, right? We talk about emotional wealth. What is that emotional wealth? Well, the emotional wealth is an overwhelming sense of gratitude for being put here in the first place, an overwhelming sense of thankfulness that no matter what comes your way, you're going to go ahead and you're going to deal with it. As we talk about the counterpunch, you know what I mean? The chop block of fate, you're going to go ahead and bring the counterpunch. Candace says, for what? I'm lost. Oh, that's okay. So are we, Candace. We're being a little, we're trying to think of a name. The group of people here are trying to think of a name of like an umbrella concept of everything that when it comes to IPM Nation, you know, you have IPM Nation Live 1, you have IPM Nation Live 2, and as we get ready to rename, you know, the big spring cleaning, as we get ready to rename the third IPM Nation platform, we've been kicking it around in pretty high-level staff meetings. Right, which just means nothing. We've just been texting and talking with each other of what would the name of what would the name of the platform be? And Lee suggests CounterPunch Media. Boy, Lee, I sure hope you're near your computer, or I think you have, Joseph says, I think you have to have a baseline to move forward. I would absolutely agree. And even if you think, and Joseph, you're the engineer and the architect and the like, but even if you're going to use a fulcrum, even if you're going to push off or do anything, you got to have a strong base, right, of operation. You're going to have strong legs. Speaking of strong legs, Brian knows this from all of his days in martial arts and the times that we've been sparring and people will run at us and go, man, especially for Brian, but for a couple of old guys, you're sure grounded. High-level staff, right? Yep. Yeah, it's a high level, all right, Brian. I'll tell you that much. I agree, Joseph. Candace says, I think you have to have a baseline to move forward. And I think that strong base and that baseline is gratitude for being put here in the first place. Gratitude for the gas, the grit, the agility, the strength, the stamina that you have, that you are capable of bringing to any situation. I think that's the baseline that's most important. And if I'm wrong, then just wait to see the smile on your face. Just wait when you go, oh, wow, great. Yeah, I think I'll be thankful for this particular scenario. Right? Because candidly, take it, as many of you here in the thread probably know, right? At any given moment, we could check out. So if you're here and you have a baseline of gratitude, I can't be, it's not time already. Wayne's giving me the eyes. Can't be that time already, I don't think. But in any event, right, if you have that baseline, as Joseph suggests, of gratitude, then that's the emotional wealth. Because what can fate ultimately do to you? Here's something else that I wanted to mention to you today. If you know, it's been really abnormally cold, I guess. I don't know, here in Columbus, right? Like -9 overnight last night. And today running around where everyone's like -9 degree weather is going to kill you, right? It's just, you're going to go out -9 degree and go, and you're going to freeze right there. Not going to be able to move. And these people, everyone's got to drive their cars right up to the door. They got to clog traffic. I saw someone get out of their car at the grocery store, right? Load their groceries and leave the cart right in the middle of the driving lane. Just pulled up, loaded their trunk, and drove away. Just another happy Tesla owner. But in any event, right, just drove away. Like -9, you're going to freeze. No, if you have a baseline of gratitude, you're like, hey, well, I'd rather be above ground for -9 than buried in it. I don't get it. All right, Brian Bashar says, I think you have to lose and really appreciate what you have or gained back. I absolutely agree, Brian. Wayne, all I'm saying is I'm watching you. Ooh, very good. Oh, thank you. So now, thank you, Lee. Wayne, the new name, if you get a hold of Matt. Lee says we now own CounterPunch Media. I love that term. CounterPunch Media is going to be the new name. I can tell you right now that's going to be the new name, right? We'll do whatever we have to throw the vote. Thank you, Lee, for that. That is absolutely fantastic. Getting back to Brian's point, I think you have to lose to really appreciate what you have or what you've gained back. Absolutely agreed, right? I had this little coin. I should have taken I carry it with me. I don't know if Philip is watching, but I have this little coin that I carry with me, and I'll take a screenshot of it tomorrow so that you can see it. Right, so I'll put a picture of it up. But it's Memento Mori. And, we've gotten a friend of ours made the critique that on the set, it made him wonder how many bodies were buried down here. And I think that had a lot to do with the human skull. Don't want to mention any names, but I think I always had the skull because it had the human brain, and I could look right at where the tumor was. But I also had that skull. Now you're better for it. Shopping cart dodging expert. I know. It was like, right, Joseph? It was like, what was it? Finding Mario? No, was it? What is it was at least like Donkey Kong, if nothing else, if I've got that name right. And then I thought, really? You just leave the cart and walk away? So in any event, Memento Mori just basically means that you could leave the earth right now. So what it is, it's a coin that has the hourglass. I got the hourglass here somewhere. Or did I get rid of that too? Good Lord, what is wrong with me? You have the hourglass that used to hang right here. You have the human skull in the middle of the coin. And you have a little vase or a vase, whatever you call it, that holds a flower. So it means that, you're on borrowed time. As long as you're here, you could check out at any moment. So that was the meaning of the skull, the hourglass, and the flower. But it led some people to believe that, I don't know, that I was a serial killer, I guess. I don't know. But in any event, it's gone now. But I'll take a picture of this so that you can see it. Kathy says, I love it. Thank you very much. Kathy, so do I. I really do. Lee, that's why I say all the time, Lee is Lee is a smart guy. Joseph says, now you're better for it. Shopping cart dodging expert. Absolutely. Candace said, media would be eye-catching for sure. I think she's talking about Lee's term. I think it's great. Brian says, poor House West playing pole position. BB, where's your junk? Thank you, Candace. Well, it's not that far, Candace. My junk is still, right, in case anyone really needs to know. Here's my samurai doing what he can to whack a troll. That's what I just should have little cartoon characters that I bring out on camera. Let me see. Maybe I'll hold this one over here so he stands out a little more. But there's my troll. Here's my samurai. Right? Don't worry. My junk didn't go very far. I built bookcases back here just to accommodate it all, but that's that. You're too tidy in your new digs. I know, Joseph. You know how I am. Slave to fashion, succumbing to peer pressure. So I had to cave and get rid of all my iconography. But it is close by, right? Like you go, oh, Bri, you remember the Thinker? Everyone knows the artist who did the Thinker. Well, did you know that he did the Hand of God? And you're thinking, well, the Hand of God, where could that be? Oh, there you go, right? It's the hand of God molding Adam and Eve from the clay, from the dirt. So don't worry. Even though you can't see it, my iconography, as Candace calls it, junk, is not all the... I hope she's talking your junk. Yeah, I think that's what she's talking about, Brian. Matt, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I don't like it clean. No. Thank you, Candace. Yet another vote. So don't worry. It only appears clean. But when you pull the camera back, the gong is still here. I got the microphones, which if you could see everything around me, you're going, oh, well, Brian, I really like that Klein bottle. Yeah, well, here you go. Here's the Klein bottle, right? So I didn't totally give in. I didn't totally cave, right? I kept everything close by. Joseph says, rebel up. Brian says, miss the old voodoo vibe you had. Well, thank you, brother, very much. I still have that voodoo vibe, right? And we're just testing this out. But everything's close by. I like my tuning fork, right? I don't have any of these things, which we use a good bit of time if we're worried about zombies, if we're worried about, if we're worried about Walking Dead, of course, right? I have my Woodman's Pal close by in case you get any brawls with the, TV characters. So I still have my stuff close by. I'm not going to get rid of it, right? Shovel, right? So just like a survival kit, I've got everything around here. So we may be making cameo appearances from time to time. Candace says, getting too formal. Boo. Well, thank you, Candace. Henry, good evening. Henry, I was thinking about you earlier. How you doing? Hope all is well. Hope the book is coming along great, and I hope that before too long you'll be back doing a Thinking Re-Envisioned. Maybe even like on a Thursday night, just swing by and let us know what's going on. I hope all is well, brother. All right. Oh, look at the time. We got to get out of here. It's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Thank you all so very much. Lee, hey, if you want to watch... If you want the fish, you got to balance the ball on your nose. That's how it goes. Okay. Brian Bouchard, you look like an episode of Dr. Phil now, or Dr. Ruth. Oh, man, how good would it be if I could do like, Oh, Silent Night? That might have been Ethel Merman, maybe not Dr. Ruth. My apologies to both Dr. Ruth and Ethel Merman. Now that you've pulled it out, leave it out. Thank you, Joseph. I have to tell you, brother, motto of mine going through life. Now that you've pulled it out, leave it out. We will definitely take that into account. All right, we're going to get out of here. Well, unfortunately, I don't get to say now. I'm throwing it to Henry Noel and Thinking Re-Envisioned because he's taken a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a sabbatical to finish up his book, and can't wait to tell you more information about that. All right, thank you all so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. And we're in the middle of a big legal battle over with somebody at YouTube. We'd normally play the music out, which I owned, but now some company has challenged us for the copyright to the music or something. I don't know. No, 1 minute past and counting. See you, Bri. Thanks for everything, brother. All right, we will see you back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and maybe some more of my stuff can make cameo appearances from just off the set. Have an absolutely fantastic evening. And until next time, don't forget, mortal up. Given any opportunity you can, crush your can't. We'll see you tomorrow night.
IPMNation.com.